Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Muscle and the Hustle podcast. We are live in Swords. Thank you very much, Dan, at Primal Studios, for having us.
Been a while.
It has been, yeah. It's been about 6 months. I've been escapading all about the place, and now I'm the big bad wolf is back.
Big bad wolf.
And we're gonna. Well, I don't know if we're gonna die. Well, we'll go straight in.
Straight in.
Yeah, because I was gonna say this. The topic of this is actually sort of straight in. We're gonna go. We're gonna go over porn and sex and masturbating and everything that you probably shouldn't on a podcast, because why the fuck not? And it's something that like is very taboo. So obviously, whenever there's something debate around the bush and it's taboo, and as two men that have absolutely zero experience in talking about this, we were like, we've done one podcast. I think we've done our third podcast in porn, like two morons. And I think we butchered it because it was like we had notes and all, because I was like, oh, I need to know how much the porn industry's worth and all. Googled it and all. And it's one of these things where, like, I think 3 years maybe went by since that podcast. It'd be around that.
Yeah,
and
it'd be coming up to
I still feel like I'm in the same space with sex and porn and all that. So it'll be good to go run through this. So I think in general, it's not like it's you know, like whenever you say the word, I think especially it's like a meal or in a group or like you don't talk about it in front of females.
No, it's mad taboo. It's especially in Ireland. It's a mad taboo to talk about porn. Never mind porn, but never mind that masturbation.
People won't want to share this in their stories, for example, just because the word porn's on. Do you know, like that's how how specific that word is.
Yeah.
I think as well, it's one of these things where, like, as you highlighted there, like I don't know if it even is just Ireland. I feel like everywhere it's quite taboo. Like it's something that men don't like talking about in front of even other men.
Yeah, like if you're at a pub with the lads, nobody's going to turn around and go, "Fuck lads, you see that new this whatever videos going out."
Yeah.
No, but the one thing I will say, some people are very quick to share videos in the group chats, which is something I've always hated. But nobody really openly speaks about shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, except for unless you're fucking Tyson Fury, clearly, because he never shuts up about masturbating.
Yeah. See, what is your? I think the best question is like, what's your take? Like, do you masturbate?
Not really. No, it's something.
Not really, as in like I don't.
I did probably. I have before.
Yeah, but like,
but it's something that I don't. I've never really been into. I've never. You know, where boys would go, "Oh, I'm fucking horned to the gills. I need to relieve some stress," or "You can't go out with a loaded gun." You know that fucking phrase.
Oh yes, I've heard that.
I've never had that. Or I've got the hangover horn. I don't get the hangover horn either.
Yeah, like,
I get the opposite. If I have a hangover, it's like I don't want to look at anybody, never mind fucking myself.
Yeah, like I do. I'm actually just after realizing that my mom and my sister and all listen to this podcast, so like I'm like fucking hell. But yeah, look, for me, I don't know about you personally, like you've highlighted there, but for me, whenever I was like that young age where you first find it, like I couldn't leave my Todger alone.
Yeah.
That's me being straight. Like I think most men will be open, honest, and like whenever you're like 15 to 16, like during that initial phase where like you sort of just become a man. Really.
You realize the thing down there's got a use.
Yeah,
and it's not just for pissing out of.
Exactly. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know if it would have been like multiple times a day or anything, but it probably would have been like round that at stages, which is, I think at that age, look, it's not that it's acceptable, but you're very immature, you're young, you're trying to figure out your own body, never mind, you don't know what the fuck's going on. But
yeah,
I feel like as you grow older, you realize, if you haven't realized it and you still do it, there's no harm in it. I think people need to realize that there is this red pill community that's like absolutely no flap, no touch yourself. Like it's completely down to you. I feel like this is a very personal choice, but there is repercussions, in my opinion, of it, because I would say for me, it definitely from a young age, it gave me like a real different, like, I'll just be honest, like a false perception of what sex would be like.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that there with the porn thing, but there's also the thing with the masturbation where guys get to a certain point of, they say if they're masturbating a lot and they know how to get themselves off, when their female partner tries it, they don't do it the way they do it, so it's like it's not as good, so it feels like worse, and it gets into their head going, "Oh, she's shit at that."
I've heard that before,
and it can also happen with females, and I know this because I remember chatting to a girl about it before. And she openly said, she goes, "I don't need a man because nobody can do to me what I can do to myself." Yeah. And she goes, "Any man that comes along, I'm always thinking, I'm just so much better than them." And I was like, that's fucking not good. And she was like, it all happened over like a period of time when she was younger, when she was trying to get, because she was always in relationships, so she stayed away from men for a while in her early 20s. And she goes, then it just got in my head going, unless someone's bringing me all the goods and ticking every box, I don't fucking need them because I can take care of myself in that respect. I just need, I'm not waiting or settling for anybody that's not ticking all the boxes. And back then I kind of thought to myself, right, okay, cool. I didn't really unwrap it as much and think to myself, that's actually can be a pretty toxic thing because even though you know how to hit all your own buttons, you still need, no, you don't need, but a male partner would be a good thing down the line.
Well, majority of people, like whenever you ask them on their deathbeds and stuff, like down the line, like human connection is number one. Like we done an exercise whenever I was the TMP event. It was the rocking chair, and you do breathing exercises, and then you close your eyes and you imagine if you take your time, do breathing exercise for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Oh, Jesus, excuse me, Jesus, I burped there. Jesus, on podcast, that's a first. Apologies to anyone.
Clip that down.
And I don't know. Well, look. I can't take it serious. I am a mess, right? You're lucky I'm not farting all of a shop. But anyway, I don't know what I was saying, Mickey. I'm all nervous now.
You were doing the breathing exercise.
So yeah, you do the rocking chair, and you imagine you're 80 years old, and 9 times out of 10, you think about what's around you. It's never like the money, the follow. It's usually like family, partners. Yeah. Most people find that like the fulfillment in their life in the later years, especially, is the partner, the family, the connection you build. And I feel like that does matter more and more as you get older. You notice that. I noticed that like 10 years ago, like going out for a family meal would have been like, oh, fuck me, like I'm busy. Whereas like that's the highlight of my week now. So I feel like, as you say there, like whenever you are disengaging with society through that, and it's this sense of like, you're also like, one thing that I really found interesting is, and it completely put me off it now, I didn't do it, but the boy that owns TK MMA Fitness in Dubai, he said that like, if you ever think about this, if you filmed yourself doing it, masturbating, and you watched it back, you'd be ashamed. And I was like, that is actually very true, because you are literally stimulating yourself off a phone in a bit of a dark room, probably. Yeah. And it's one of the things, like, that's all, like, not that it's fine when you're 16, but you're molding your brain. And I think as well, people forget, like, the time that it takes. Yeah. The addiction, and then the false sense of reality with it. You're seeing it, like, for example, like 50 years ago, you couldn't click on the internet and see a beautiful woman naked like that. No. That would have to be a hard work. So then all of a sudden you're now comparing your first girlfriend to somebody that's completely actually, don't get me wrong, I'm not meaning fake in terms of boobs and ass. I mean in terms of like, it's actually like they're fake acting. It's all acting. Yeah. But you don't even realize that because you've watched so much of that it's probably ingrained in your thought that this is now the reality. It's like, if you keep watching rom-coms, you can start to get like warped that like that is romance. Yeah, and I think people are like that. Like people are looking for their whatever the fucking big rom-com people are, and they want that life, but then they realize that that's okay for 90 minutes or whatever the film starts, but that's not the real world. That's not reality. It's the same as the Love Island and the fucking reality TV shows. That's not really reality. Yeah, 100%. But I think even though you know that, I think the more you watch of it, the more that seeds into your subconscious. Oh, yeah. Like, Joe, like, especially I think with even the rom-com, I actually never even thought about that, but that's a very interesting dynamic because you do see that sort of stuff, and even though it's like a laugh and a joke, you're like, that's real romance, but it's actually not. It's not, no. Like if you ever watched The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and like Sandra Bullock, great movie, but like, that's never, like, that is just not going to happen for like, and the thing is that like sort of fantasizes what romance is like. Then you think that's what your relationship should be like. You think then your sex should be like porn, and then all of a sudden you're unhappy or not content because your perception of reality, of what's real, and your expectations aren't being met because your expectations you're never going to be met. Yeah, but it's also like what do you call that? Fucking Mr. Grey. That's such 50 Shades. 50 Shades. Don't act like you don't know it. All them there was like girls going, "Oh, I want my Mr. Grey," but you're like, but you don't, like, you're not going to let you're not going to let Johnny from Newry tie you up and fucking pour wax over you, wherever the fucking mad shade he was at. Like, that's not happening. We Johnny from Newry's running about with a pair of handcuffs in the back of the car. You know, it's I don't like. They're like, "Oh, I can't wait to get my Mr. Grey," and you're like, but no. It's nice to think about and it's nice to fantasize about, but in reality, you don't really want that, and that is fucking okay because, you know, that's why them books and give people the fantasy. They sell you a fantasy, and it is a nice fantasy to have, but in reality, it's not
no, it's probably not for everybody. It's probably for less than 1% of the world.
Yeah, and then I feel like as well, because if you see like, I think like a lot of people have watched porn. Like everybody has females, males. Like you know what it is.
I think females watch porn a lot more than males now.
They do. I've had the conversation with plenty that are open about it, and it's a very common thing.
I know a lot of girls that love porn. Like.
It tends to be people that don't talk about it. Then there is generally like males and females that just don't watch it. Like for example, like it's one of these things where yes, it's taboo, but also because some people just generally don't like. There's no harm in anybody having a conversation with me about it. But like I am completely like I haven't watched it in so long, and the reason I never revert back is just because the way I feel it, the confidence I have from leaving it, and even just like the overall how I feel mentally is just so much better. And I think people don't realize that side of the coin with it.
Yeah.
Because even just like my expectations, the way I react, the fact that it probably puts a certain type of woman on a pedestal, and you're constantly drilling that into your head.
Yeah.
You're also comparing your body to other people's. It's just like it's not good to watch that constantly and almost be addicted. So it's one of the things where I stay quite away from it, and I find that personally for me works well. There is individuals who probably can function fine, but I think they subconsciously don't realize what's happening.
Yeah.
I was like that.
Yeah. It's probably, you probably know when there's an issue when you have a partner and you expect her to act or him to act like the person in the videos or into the same thing, or, you know,
all for spicing it up, though. Do you not?
Yeah. I'm all for spicing it up, but I do have a realm of, I know the possibilities of like, I would never expect a girlfriend to act like a porn star, get on like a porn star, be able to do what a porn star does. It's the same way as I would never, if I went out in a football pitch, I would never expect to do what a Premiership footballer ever does. You know, people have their own skills, and if that's fucking porn, fair play to you. But I don't expect the run-of-the-mill girl of the street to come in and go, right, here's what we're doing. Let's get it on.
I think a lot of people do. I think I would have expected that.
Well, that's what I mean. That's when you know you maybe shouldn't watch it. Like the last time I was just thinking.
The first time you had sex, was there like mine was.
Sure, we talked about it on this. Like the football manager catching me in the swings.
Oh, there you go. Yes, fuck.
Well, it wasn't a swing, so it was a wee bit boring.
Well, like yeah, true. Yours was better there. Like mine was very like basic, you know, like missionary and maybe one over position, and like that was. And to be honest, I was lucky I even got to probably the second fucking position. But it's one of the things where like. It's also hyped up. Like I find it very relaxing. See, where like I think it's very. I say this all the time because I have no problem. Like I think I lost my virginity at like 18, 19 maybe.
Were you in uni already?
I was in uni, and that's exactly. And the reason I always say that is because there's somebody watching this right now that's laughing at me.
Yeah,
and there's somebody else that's watching that going, oh, thank fuck, because that's me.
Oh,
and the thing is, like Jimmy Carr didn't lose his till he was 26. I find that so relaxing for me.
But you're better looking than him. Like.
Yeah, it's not about looks. Anyway.
Well, clearly it is, because he is funny. Like.
Yeah, well, he couldn't laugh. Well, but comedians are also funny because they know how to make you laugh. It's not just that they're funny in person. They're very intellectual. But I always find it very relaxed whenever somebody says something like that, or you know, whenever you hear like, "Oh, Morgan Freeman started acting at 50 or 40," or Samuel L. Jackson, you're like, "Oh, well, that's quite relaxing because I don't have my shit together and he's older." So, I remember somebody saying that to me in person before they were talking about it with me. They were a younger gentleman, and he was like, "That put me at ease." And I'm always like, "That's why if we ever talk about that virginity, I always throw it out there. It's not something I enjoy throwing out. Like I don't think anybody enjoy because there is this thing of like." Oh, you started late. Like even my first kiss was quite late. Like I think I was like 15, or I was old enough for that. Like
I was probably about that too.
But that's quite old. That's quite old, isn't it?
Probably was. I remember.
What's that, third year?
Yeah.
That's like third year in secondary school. Whereas like most people usually their first kiss like literally probably like 12. Just it's like done.
I don't know what the current trend is now. I do know people are waiting to have sex again.
People are, but they're also not waiting to have drugs again. I remember a lot of teachers are going on placements and they're fighting like students and like 16 with pills on them and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of that shit going on. But there's like I know a guy. I'm not saying his name, and he's 26 and just lost his virginity because he wanted to wait for marriage.
But see, that's his person. That's very rare, though.
That very rare. There's a group of them because they've got all picture taken. They're
what happens?
No, like I don't know what like this group they're in. It's like a men's fucking
It'd be like a Christian thing.
I don't know it's a Catholic thing, but it's like they've got a group, like they have a football team and they do social things and they support things. They do a lot of community work. But he's not like you. If you met him, you would like he plays football and he'd take your head or clean out your shoulders. He's not afraid to like drill you a punch.
Normal person,
but. like, I didn't know this about him, and he was telling me about him getting married. And he's super excited to get married, and I was like, "Aye, class." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I just need to get the cherry popped." And I was like, "What?" And I known him for so long, and he's like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "It's like," he goes, "I vowed that I would wait," and he goes, "I'm nearly there now."
See, that's mental. I feel like that, no matter how, see, even the way he's going on about that, that will never meet his expectation.
No, well, I think it's just the fact that it was getting so close that he was excited, and he was like, you know what? He goes, and he was so impressed that he waited that long.
Yeah,
and he's like, he's a deadly looking fella, like. And I was just thinking, you'd have been tortured when you were 18, 17, 18, like.
Yeah, see, the thing is, though, as a creature in a species, like, we're probably taught as males, like, we're taught, you know, one partner and that, but like biologically, like hundreds of years ago, it was like, you know, just reproduce as much as you can. Yeah. That's why you can constantly get fucking erections, especially when you're like 17, 18. And that's why you constantly, it's not like there's certain time periods you produce sperm and not.
Yeah.
You're literally, your body is hardwired to reproduce. That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
That's why you'll hear people argue like the idea of like multiple partners, because they're like, oh, it's hardwired. And I mean, I don't know about that, but a case of like, it is hardwired to reproduce. And that's actually what we're on our for. And I think it's a very interesting dynamic of the porn, because if you're ejaculating to a screen, now that is fucking weird whenever you say it out loud, isn't it? Like, and your body's probably getting the same stimulus, the same addiction it would if you were having sex. Like, it doesn't probably know the difference. Your body's not hardwired to know the difference between porn and that. So it is one of these things where if you are doing it, no more am I preaching to you, because I've been down the rabbit hole. But I would say if you can't go like a month without, that shows an issue.
Some people can't go a day without.
Exactly. So then I would say like it's probably not complimenting your life, it's complicating it. And the thing is, it's like everything. If you couldn't go a month without drink, I would recommend trying it and seeing how you get on, and seeing, do you like it, see how it feels, do you feel better, do you feel worse? And then you can always reintroduce it. It's like if you take too much caffeine and you cut it out, you can initially get headaches and shakes and all. But then when you reintroduce it, you get a much better flow for it, and you're not as dependent, and it's better. So I feel like it's definitely something as a meal. If you ask me, like a pivotal thing I've done over the last couple of years is like, I cut it out and I noticed everything in my life went better. Relationships, family, just even time. You know, like you go to bed and you actually fucking sleep. You're not sitting up for another 40 minutes. Like by 40 minutes, I mean like 3 minutes. But you get what I'm saying.
30 minutes of scrolling.
Yeah, picking your choice. Do you know what I mean?
Your choice, dealer's choice.
Fucking nuts.
There is. I think
it's a wee bit. I think it's a wee bit. Without sounding cheeky, I think it's a wee bit sick. Like, see, whenever you talk about it out loud, it's a wee bit.
There is when you break it down into like, if you said, if someone's to video you doing it.
Oh my god!
Or like, it would say if you're in a relationship, would it feel like if you're a wife and you were doing it, would that feel like you were cheating? Or would it feel like you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Not cheating, but like
I've done it at the start of a relationship, like because it was like natural to me at that stage. I probably was like 21, so like it probably wasn't out of that phase fully.
But I know it's not cheating. But what would be the word? Is it like seedier, or is it like?
I just think that's not good for the relationship.
That's what I mean. Like it's like
if you're a man and you're married and you're masturbating like fuck. I don't think that, like, don't get me wrong, if you're not getting any, look, that's understandable, there needs to be, but like that conversation would need, not even brought up, but that habit either needs broken down or something's off there, because that shouldn't be happening. The thing is, then that becomes the norm, and then all of a sudden you're masturbating, and then you don't want to have sex yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's where that festers in a relationship. That's one of the reasons why I believe if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because that's why I wouldn't do it before, because whatever you wouldn't do in a relationship, you probably shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Out to an extent. Like do you know where I'm coming from that? Like in terms of you're building your habits, your routines, your rituals, your behaviors. And if you don't treat yourself like that now, you're not going to change whenever you're in a more comfy spot.
Yeah, definitely.
So in my opinion, I think it's one of them things where it's an interesting topic: porn, masturbation, sex. You have a quiz or something, do you?
I do have a quiz.
Right. Well, he's going to quiz me here.
It's about porn in Ireland.
Right. Let's go.
Porn in Ireland. So Ireland at the minute is the 42nd country in the world that watches porn.
What do you mean, like 42nd most?
Ranked. Aye.
Right, interesting. There's not even that many.
No, but it's pretty high.
Where's
right,
first? States, UK.
America's number one. Aye. UK is up there too. Right, so porn searches.
Right.
What do you think the most searched phrase is in Ireland on Pornhub?
Oh.
We can break it down into counties as well.
No, go firstly, go with Ireland as a whole. It's got to be like most search phrase.
Most search phrase. Most popular phrase. You know, you write under the search bar.
It's got to be something basic like big tits or big ass or something.
No, it's even more basic than that.
Like sex?
No.
Like, what are we talking?
Irish.
What to make it more realistic?
Don't know. And then number 2 is MILF, followed by lesbian, threesome, and JOI, jerk off instructions.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it. I didn't know what JOI was.
And then top relative. We'll not go to that. That's a bit rotten.
Oh no!
We'll go to counties.
Or we'll do down there because that's where I'm from. There.
No down here because it's not in Ireland. Seemingly
sorry.
These fuckers.
Go Dublin then. Go
Dublin, their number 1 search. Dan, what do you think Dublin's number 1 search in Pornhub is?
Well, based off what you just said, is it Dublin?
It is Dublin.
Is it Dublin?
What?
Dublin is the only county
6 in a row.
that Dublin is the only county that search themselves. That's how egotistical these pricks are here. Right. Wexford. Let's go. Wexford.
All right. This is the last one. And we're going to something else. Is it like similar as well? Like, is it like.
No, you'll never get it.
Wexford
is cartoon.
Oh, that's weird.
Awfully is transgender. Claire is British MILF. And we'll pick a good one here for you.
No.
Monaghan.
I'm out. Leave
Monaghan is BJ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't believe they give you that.
They do it every year, They give you, every country has it, break it down every year. Just same as way Spotify do Unleashed, on Wrapped. So they do this every year in every country. And that's the search in there.
Well, apart from the quiz, I think the take home is like if you.
Well, the take home there is there's a lot of fucked up people like looking for mad stuff because. Like when I go through the search topics, like they start off pretty normal, but then it gets real into weird stuff. Like
that's just a minority as well.
But yeah, so that's what I mean. Like there is people that are in healthy relationships but have a fetish for say cartoons.
But then I think that comes from you not working on that and stuff, over time as well.
Well, I don't know if you're into cartoons where I don't know where it would come out of. But it's definitely
from a young age.
Every person's got their own thing.
Yeah, their own kinks and stuff.
Their own kinks, and like if you live in rural Ireland, like the ruralest part, and you're into like Latino women, you're probably never getting a chance to see a Latino woman. I'm not, you know what I mean? But it's
but then you shouldn't.
But then that's where these companies like Pornhub become so popular and make so much money because
you wouldn't even know you're into Latino women unless you were on the site.
Well, or TV, you could see like a famous actress, and you're like, oh fuck.
I know, but you wouldn't automatically go. Like I remember do you remember the first woman you were attracted to? I know the first woman I was attracted to. I know exactly when it was. I know exactly the time of day.
Your girl out of Saved by the Bell, probably.
Who's that?
Tiffany Amber Feason's her real name, but I don't know what she was in Saved by the Bell.
Mine was watching Desperate Housewives, and it was Eva Longoria Parker. And I just remember being like, that was like the moment that I went from like, no, I never went from being a boy to a man. I'm still working on it. But okay, so if that was the time I was like, oh,
what age were you then? About 12? 13?
I was probably about 12 or 13. I was like, do you know the way, like, I don't know if anybody else was like this, but whenever you're like 8, 9, 10, you think like girls are like, ugh, there's nothing like, but like I remember being like, oh, my penis actually works for something else than pissing. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, what the fuck? So it's one of them things. I just remember that moment very clearly. It was like I was born again.
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, say if you were in rural Ireland, the hills of Donegal and Eva Longoria Parker.
That's why the Latina thing brought to my mind.
Latina girl. So that's probably what, if they were searching someone and then they end it, like there's
that's how that builds up.
That's how it builds up, and then it builds up to a certain
But that's all
point.
from society. Like for example, like that's from telly, that's from glorifying that person.
Yeah.
And then it creates that false sense of what, like, for example, like me and mum were talking about this before. Like, for example, like she would say, like, back in her day, like it was all about being flat. It was pretty much flat chest and flat assed, and you were sweet. You were just need to be skinny. And then she said it went like more into chest.
Yeah.
And then she says, no, it's like not everything, but she says it's all about like your bum and your curves now.
Yeah.
And she was like 20 years ago, it would have been like, what the fuck's going on here? Or 30 years ago. So it's like, but that's all dictated by like what's in the papers. And then that's the subconscious stuff we're talking about with the porn. We're talking about the magazines. We're talking about the telly. That you don't realize that you're naturally getting guided a certain direction. Like what Kim K is now, for example, like a lot of people would idolize that as like pinnacle.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like 30 years ago, they would have been like, what the fuck is going on? So the thing is, you don't realize that, but your actual perception of beauty is completely from beauty. What's right for you, what's attractive, is actually it is yours, but it's not because it's been seeded in you. You've been told what's good looking.
Yeah,
and that's actually it's hard to think that you aren't your thoughts.
But it's like people saying blondes have more fun, and that be seeded into people's heads, and then it's
over time you can end up thinking I want blondes. Yeah, I know
or are you into brunettes, you into blondes,
and like hair color means fuck all. It makes
exactly. It means nothing. It means nothing. But people, it's like you
shave your head, and what, you're gonna have less fun. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
just, like seeded into you, and it's systematically put into you that you have to have a type. That's the other thing. It's put into your brain, and people go, like, I had a girl the other day ask me, what's your type?
I've had that
and
before.
You're like I don't, like, be a good person.
Mine is energy.
But like I did say, I'm not going to lie to you. They have to be good looking because there has to be a connection.
But good looking to you and good looking to me, probably two
exactly.
different things.
But good looking to them and good looking to me is two different things as well. So I have to find them attractive. I was like, I'm not going to beat about the bush. I have to find them attractive, but they have to just be a good fucking person. Like,
yeah.
I don't have a preference on height. I don't have a preference on hair color.
But I feel like, for example, like really good example is like women are almost hardwired now for taller. They want tall men. Now,
they've got the 6'1" fucking thing in their head.
But for example, like that's probably coming from beauty that is put in male. Like for example, like a Superman, he's not gonna be short. Batman, like they don't shoot. Like for example, when they shot Tom Cruise in all the movies, they shoot him down up to make him look taller. So like it pre-programs in that you want a tall individual. And even like if you look at like, I'm sure to be honest, way back hundreds of years ago, behavior wise, like taller, bigger males probably kept you safer.
Fat men were seen as
you wealthy and
better. If you were big, you were seen as
you wouldn't get the fat. You wouldn't get the fat.
Exactly. Like Winston Churchill was seen as a powerful man.
Yeah. So it's that perception. I feel like over time that obviously shifts, but if you actually don't monitor that, you can end up letting stuff like that, I think, rule your life without realizing it. Like you can make decisions of that where like you're like, oh, the sex isn't that good anymore, but then are you watching porn? Are you masturbating?
Yeah.
She's not as good looking as she was, but what beauty standards are you relating that person to? He's not, he's not this, he's not that, he's not holding door. What are you comparing? And I think a lot of the contentment we talk about is because the expectations aren't met.
Yeah.
But the expectations are unrealistic in every aspect. And that's why I think now more than ever, society, people like me, you, everybody's getting like small mental health issues here and there because one, we've actually got like, we actually know without sounding cheeky, like, we don't really have real problems. Like we're not running about trying to get water. We're not running about trying to get food.
Yeah.
Our safety, our needs are met. Most people have a roof over their head. Most people are okay with finance. So you can actually start to worry about you can almost actually worry about your mental health. Whereas like if you fucking broke skint and you're homeless, like yes, you might have bad mental health, but you're more worried about your next fucking meal.
You're worried about your actual health.
Yeah, exactly.
Than your mental health. Well, that is the big thing where I think
why the highlighted children in Africa like can be so happy about football.
Yeah,
because like that, if they have water and they have food, that's the main thing. Everything else is just bonuses.
Everything else is bonuses, and now we're in a world of more, want more. And when you give someone something, they just want more. Like nobody, like it's when people talk about, oh, there's something on offer now, or there's this on offer. It's never good enough for people now. They just want more and more and more.
It's mad the way you have to work. Like I actually have to work on my contentment because I always do want more. Like do I have to be like, this is enough? And if you really put into terms of other people in the world and that, like I have more than enough. But the thing is, it's strange because it's coming from your first person, so it's your reality. It's like, it sounds ridiculous, but like your tire to you busting on the way down the road is as bad as like a rainy day for a bride get married. Like it's just it's because it's to you, it seems so important. It seems first worth, and that is the same stress level as somebody else maybe trying to get food. And it to them, it's like they're not the same at all. But it's because your body responds the same, your stress level is the same because that's your first world problem, and that's where that comes from. But a lot of people let that go over their head, and I think it is reflecting that. And it's so interesting that you actually have to work on being content, like which is actually not embarrassing, but like you have so much going. Like everybody does have so much going for them. If you're listening to this right now, you're probably wealthier than majority of the world. Like you're in a good financial. Like if you have an iPod, you're driving a car right now. You're listening. It's like you like you probably do, like I take my car.
Well, if you have a Spotify subscription and you're listening to this, you're probably better off than half the world.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like we don't take that into account. I don't, and I hate bringing it up because it sounds preachy, but like it brings you back for about 20 seconds, and then you go straight back into like, right, back into the whatever thought process.
Where the fuck's my fast charger?
Where the fuck's my Pepsi Max? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not using this fucking slow charger.
Yeah.
Where's my fast charger?
I find that very
but
interesting.
it is true. Like it's contentment in anything is easy to talk about, but it's harder to actually find, because especially if you're an ambitious person or you're a driven person, you need to always dial yourself back in to go and realize that you're happy with where you are and where you're at, and you should be happy. But it's pre-programmed in certain individuals and certain people to always more, strive for more. When you hit the goal, what's next? When you hit this target, what's next? When you do this, what's next? And I find myself getting stuck in that, but I'm always kind of very happy with it. I'm happy at a point where if I decided tomorrow, fuck it, I'm not doing any more gigs, I'd be happy with what I've done. I'd be fair happy with what I've done, and I won't have many regrets. But saying that, once you do something good like the gigs this week, then you're like, right, how do I make the next one bigger? Because that's just in my head. But then again, I'm trying to slowly say to myself, if this all ended tomorrow, I'm happy.
You see, you want to push for more, but you also want to enjoy the moment. But the problem is it's a two-sided coin. Like, do you know what's a really good way to do it as well is you hardwire in processes. Like, I was listening to Huberman's podcast a while back, and he was saying, for example, like, if anybody doesn't know Andrew Huberman, I highly doubt you don't, but very interesting topics. But he brought up that they were monitoring serotonin levels in the brain whenever you write a gratitude list. And this is one of the reasons why if you continually do it over time, you notice mindfulness benefits, you notice you're at peace more, because actually writing down what you're grateful for slightly releases a bit of serotonin. It lights up that part of the brain. So the thing is, that's why you'll see every preachy cunt on Facebook about it or Instagram, like me being like, oh, I write a gratitude list in the morning. It's not because you need to do it. It's because we're getting serotonin release from it. And the more you do it, the more that happens. Then it builds that pattern of like contentment is done from serotonin, done from the list. And then that helps build that thought process. Because like neuroplasticity is something you have to do time and time over again. Neuroplasticity being like reshaping of the brain and the circuitry in there. So it's one of these things that has to be done by repetition over the long haul. And if you continually do that, then your brain, before you even get to the gratitude list, your brain's already lighting up serotonin. You feel better throughout the day. And it almost hardwires your brain that way. Whereas if you're feeding it unnecessarily porn, masturbation, you're feeding it drugs more, you don't realize it, but you're rewiring your brain in a different direction that you probably don't really want. You don't see it as an issue. And I didn't, especially when I was into drugs and I was into all the shit of the day and porn and everything. Now, these are all normal things. Like, don't get me wrong. If you're a young lad and you're taking drugs, you're having a fucking wank. It's not the end of the world. Don't stress. But it's just one of these things where now that you're conscious of it, what you do is different. And then it's like, right, well, if I'm not feeling great and then just saying, I'm not feeling good, my mental health sucks, what have you done to try and improve it? And now you're like, oh, well, do you know what? Maybe I'll cut down fucking on playing with myself, or I'll cut down on watching this, or I'll write a wee list of gratitude and see, does it work after 90 days or 30 days? Don't do it for a day. And it's one of them things where, but I think we all want that instant gratification. And as you highlighted there, more. It's a constant process of working on yourself. Like, I don't know if we'll ever all be content all the time. You'll be happy, you'll be sad, you'll not be content, you'll feel numb, you'll feel sad. You're in a constant state of flux. I think that's one of the reasons why your expectations lead you to be unhappy, if you get me, because you always expect to be. But
I don't think you should be content all the time.
No, it's
I think if you're content all the time, you'll stop trying to be better. If, like, imagine you going to the gym and go, oh, I'm just fucking content and lifting that same weight every single day.
Yeah.
Or I'm content of earning the same money for the rest of my life, but everything around you is getting more expensive. Or I'm content of like just doing what I do, and like
hardwired. It's hardwired.
Yeah,
because you're told to gather more resources, gather more everything, so you're safe.
Yeah. But imagine like you had like you were just too. Imagine you were just too content. And you didn't want
comfy,
more.
You mean?
But that's the same sort of thing. But I think there's that double-edged sword where you're never content and you don't enjoy what you have, and then you're too content where you're almost borderline fucking lazy.
You get that on the spectrum of people as well. Where like, for example, like somebody might be pushing hard, millionaire, always want more, very unhappy, and then you get somebody who is doing just 9 to 5, very content, but then they're both frustrated in the back end because one person still wants more but isn't maybe working as hard. Yeah. And the other person wants more and they're still working really hard. So neither person is happy. So for you, it's just really journaling, spending time thinking about it, what is right to you. And if you go, what makes you happy, what makes you content.
Yeah.
And then trying to lead your life more towards that. And usually what you'll notice is it's not more followers, more money, more holidays. It's usually this really simple things. Like for me, it's like more like walking my dog, more relaxing with my family, more how like, for example, like I brought like I've been fucking manic the last while, and I've really started to try and dial back, and I'm starting to wind out, and I'm trying to do my best. And it's just this constant state of like things dial up, then you dial down. You're regulating. And like, for example, like one of the happiest I've been is like I brought my mum up a cup of coffee to wake her this morning, sat in the bed, had the crack, played with the dog for maybe 15 minutes. And the thing is that I near burped again, and Jesus Christ, and like that was like a really good moment for me. But the thing is, you can ruin that moment by going. Like, have you ever done this? I find this very interesting if anybody's listening to this. Have you ever tried to be more in the moment and then you're like, I'm not enjoying the moment enough?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that's happened to me in like Bali and all. I remember being like, I'm not taking in this enough. Like, I need to put my phone away. I need to take it in. And then you're like trying to take in more of the moment. And it's like, whenever it's just so, there's so much pressure to make everything better is the problem, even our own lives. And I think that's where all of it gets lost, because I'm almost preaching myself here.
Yeah, well then sometimes people can do the whole self-help thing and they try to implement so many changes that they've read somewhere or listened to this podcast to implement a change, when really they should implement one maybe at a time, instead of getting like stick fucking just gel down and looking at people going, oh, I need to do this. I need a journal. I need an ice bath. I need to stretch. I need to do gratitude. I need to meditate. I need to do this.
You stop wanking. You stop.
I need to stop wanking as well. And I need to speak to my mum more, but I need to do this all before breakfast. And then they go and they're just like, fuck, I'm overwhelmed. How the fuck's these boys do this? Instead of just picking one wee thing and just do it and see if it helps you. And if it helps you, add something more to it. Do that. Like ice baths, it's something like I've talked about. I want to try it. I don't think it'll help. I don't think I'll be in it for the simple fact is I just do not like the coldness.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, but I just really don't like it. But I will give it a good blast. I know, but like it won't be one day. I'll try it for a while. Meditating, I can do it certain days. Certain days I can't. My life's just too hectic to meditate all the time, because I got up to about 8 minutes. I need longer.
Yeah, but then I feel like that's down to you. Like if you really wanted to meditate, you would make the time first.
No.
But
I can't go past 8 minutes. I break out of it.
That's fine.
So I need a train. No, but then but I feel like I need a wee bit more to get the most out of it. Like I woke up this morning.
You just take what you can do. It's like if you can only do a 30-minute gym session, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, but like anybody knows, like so the next week or two, I'm changing my phone number. Like I have to change my phone number, right? I'm getting 2 minutes. No, so I woke up this morning with 11 missed calls from Australia, and then by the time I'd come here, I think I was sitting at there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 calls from Oma to Dublin that I didn't answer.
Yeah, but see,
and there's too many. So there's too many people. So I'm gonna change a personal number and use that as a business thing, right?
Just do not disturb. Like you don't get me on a phone call anymore. It's
yeah,
just do not disturb.
I needed to put on the do not disturb. But then if a friend rings, I don't want to miss it. Well, no, do not disturb. You ring back straight away. If you ring back straight away, it rings. If you have do not disturb set up,
you will not get me ever on a call. I will ring you. I know that sounds so selfish.
So I'm going to have to start doing stuff like that, because when I wake up in the morning, I know they say don't look at your phone in the morning, but because we're launching so many events at the minute, I just see them and I'm looking at see the 11, 12, 13 or whatever, and I'm just
trigger, no way.
And then you think, is there something important in here in case it's my sister or something? So you flick it up and just see all these red things. You're like, fuck.
No, see, I'm like of the stage where I'm like, if it's an emergency, somebody else will come get me or tell me, and if not, it's not. And see, now, like, for me, nothing, unless somebody is dead or somebody is dying, nothing needs done right now. And I've really hardwired that in myself, because with the fire service, people be like I'd be like to Lance, look, I had somebody a year ago turn around to me and say, oh, like, I messaged you over the weekend, like, and you didn't message back. And I goes, yeah, it was Sunday. Like, I was like, I take Sunday off. And he was like, oh, but like, I'm paying you for and I goes, it's not an emergency. Like, you were going out for a meal. Like, relax. It's not that big of a deal.
Chill out.
And I was like, I'm so laid back about it, because then I was like, look, nothing is an emergency in fitness, because the only thing that I have been in that's a real emergency is whenever the fucking building's on fire and I'm running in there and I'm like, right, fair enough, you can ring me and I'll fucking come. Whenever you're ringing me that you're going out to such and such for a fucking dinner and you don't know where to get curry or cod or what, that's not an emergency. So it's one of them things where it, as you say there with a call, I feel like a really good thing to do with that though is whenever you find that you're like that is like, yes, you can say this and that and you can go, look, I have need emergency, but then it's just going, what's the bad habit that I formed? Outline, I think a really good thing to do with bad habits is not just go bad habit, what do I swear word, write out what it's costing you. So it's costing you peace of mind, it's costing you money, it's costing you energy, it's costing you to be more stressed, it's costing you, write out the cost of this bad habit. And then once you've got the cost, you'll be like, oh, fuck this. And then just pick 3 simple things you can do that can help you beat it. It doesn't have to be beat completely, but like for example, me, I was scrolling too much there like a while back. Downloaded Opal, which locks me out of my phone. I
think you're definitely sponsored by Opal.
I love them. They're literally changed my life.
You drop that word too.
I drop it all the time. See people but the thing is, the amount of people that message me saying,
ask for it.
Yeah, but even the amount of people that message me going, "You fuck you," and shut the fuck up about that. So I finally download it, and then it makes a really big difference to their life.
Yeah,
I should actually just create one. But the thing is, I use that for work blocks, and then I use it in the gym, use it all the time, and then I don't use my phone late at night, or I don't use it before 8 a.m. And that's 3 wee simple rules, and I don't use it at the dinner table. You slowly add them up, and then the habit slowly fades away. And the thing is, you can swap it out, but it's like, right, well, because I find it very easy to do exactly what you done there. You turn around and you go, but what if it was an emergency? You almost justify it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like I do that all the time. I'm like, I'll not do an ice bath because I'm going to the sea tomorrow, which is pretty heavy, you know, and like that's justifying an excuse to yourself.
Yeah.
I think they're the trickiest ones.
Well, the one I don't go on really social media now at all. I don't. I've turned off all my notifications.
Oh, definitely, really recommend that.
But it's the missed calls get me. I don't know what it is about the missed calls.
I even have a work phone,
even emails. Like if I seen on read emails, doesn't bother me anymore. It used to be if I had like 3 emails, had to go on it. But it's the missed call part because I'm like, just in case.
So you don't have a work phone, do you?
No, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this will become the work phone.
You can get business WhatsApp,
and then my new personal will be. I'm just going to give it to like close friends that need.
Yeah, because I use Signal messaging for the mentorship. I use WhatsApp Business. So I don't know if anybody's ever listening. This is a benefit. You can get WhatsApp and you can get WhatsApp Business, and WhatsApp Business different phone numbers. So I just use it in the same phone for business. So if anybody's talking to me about fitness or that, goes in there. So whenever I click into my normal WhatsApp, there's literally, I would say, about 4 people that message me on that, and that's the only one I check. Me? Yeah, you, my mum, like family, you, Caroline, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. But even whenever I'm talking to like Stephen about work, we're in a different. Because do you know what, there's not worse than clicking into your phone and seeing something work, and then you're out for food or you're out for this, and it just triggers you, and your mood's thrown. But the thing is, that's your fault.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for you, it's like just going, right, well, work phone that, and then that solves that issue. The problem is whenever you fall into the justification, it can shit you over. I think that's been quite a good podcast. Mickey's in a bit of a rush, so we're going to wrap up, and he's going to fuck off, and then we're going to come back for part. Maybe not even part 2, it'll just be a fresh one.
Just a fresh podcast. Well, guys, rate, review, share on your stories. Give us a follow on Instagram. The page is blowing up because Tony started to share things.
Start sharing things, I put it up top of my Instagram bio, and it's just like climbing like fuck.
Like fuck now. The big man's getting behind the pod. So yeah, guys, cheers for having, and we'll see you again next time.
Peace.